In this lesson, we're going to continue discussing nested styles. If you'd like to follow along, go into the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 0805 Line Styles and just click Open. What are line styles? A way of quickly and consistently adding character styles to lines in a paragraph style. It's a nested style that can be applied to one or more full lines. And this solves a major formatting problem. Let me just go to my zoom tool and zoom in on just the top part of this page by clicking and dragging with the zoom tool across the margins. And let me just scroll up a little bit before I begin. I'm going to go to my type tool. I'm going to select just this first line. And I'm going to apply a character style to just that first line. Go to my character styles, and I'm going to apply red bold caps. Unfortunately, it went down to the next line because this formatting takes up much more room in the width. Well, if I wanted it to only be the first line, I would have to select where it went down to the second line and click on None. Well, that's not that hard, but imagine doing that in a very long document where you have bold lead-ins that are supposed to be confined to just the first line of a paragraph. Could take quite a bit of time, especially if there's copy changes. What if I were to add some words in here? Well, it went back down onto that second line again. Let me undo all this. I'm going to hit Command or Control Z several times to get rid of that formatting that I just did. And I'm going to click outside of my frame, and we're going to talk about a way of doing this far more efficiently and quickly. I'm going to go to my Paragraph Styles panel and double-click on Copy with Red Lead. Go down to the Drop Caps and Nested Styles section, and down the bottom of that section is Nested Line Styles. And why don't we create a nested line style? I'm just going to click New Line Style. What character style do I want to apply? I'm going to click down on the character style pop-up, and I'm going to choose red bold caps for one line. Well, let's move this out of the way and see if it's working, and it's not until I click off of that listing. So that seems like a simple solution, but let's see how well it works. I'm going to click OK. And what happens if I edit the copy? Maybe I'll select a couple of words in the beginning of that second paragraph and just hit delete. Let me delete a little bit more. And you can see as words start coming up onto that first line, they become red bold caps. Really kind of cool. Well, what would happen if I started to type other words in that first line, and the words that no longer fit on the first line are no longer red bold caps? So it does work. Let's take this a step further. I'm going to go to my selection tool, go into my object menu to text frame options, and I'm going to make it 3 columns. And let's see what happens. If nothing happens, make sure to check preview so you can actually see the 3 columns. You can see that as those columns become narrower, red bold caps is still only being applied to the first line. Anything that used to be red bold caps that no longer fits in the column is not red bold caps anymore. It's the regular text of that paragraph style. So it's really kind of a cool feature. But what else can you do with it? Well, there's something that we worked on earlier that had to do with address listings. Why don't we do that same formatting that we did previously using regular nested styles with line styles instead? I'm going to double click on address listings, go to the Drop Caps and Nested Styles section, and down the bottom, I'm going to click New Line Style. I'm going to choose Names Bold Caps for the first line. And like I've been saying, until you click off of the listing, nothing happens. Well, now the names are names bold caps. Kind of cool. Let me add a second new line style. And this time I'm going to make it bold italic. For, how about 2 lines. As soon as I click off of the listing, you can see that the next 2 full lines are bold italic. So it is a really amazing feature that can be used for a lot of things and save a lot of time. We'll continue to discuss nested styles in upcoming lessons.